This was, although this has the draft on it, this was actually the first draft. And you can say, everybody said, oh, we're going to demonstrate all of this in this course. And it was really interesting, because then the APSU, the faculty member that had taught our capstone course forever had not been able to be at the meeting. And she walked in after, and she said, what, you guys were crazy? I'm not doing all that in my course. You might initially say that you want all, but can we have this conversation? You know, about really what do we want, and it made us all get back together again and have a second conversation. We actually ended up having 3 before we got to this, okay? And this is still being, I consider this still a very big work in progress of conversation.
I like this. Is it tied to the course evaluations? This is it linked?
No.
No.
No, because the course evaluation, well, okay. If we're talking about the typical student, the question was, is it tied to course evaluations?
Yeah, well, student evaluation
okay.
of course.
Our student evaluation of courses is the same regardless of the course. And so it doesn't get into the learning. Okay, it's a student perception of how good the course was. I call it a smiley form.
Oh, okay.
But I'll tell you what it is. In every single one of these courses now, there is what is called the key assignment. Okay? Every single course has a key assignment. That key assignment has to demonstrate in that course, has to provide me direct evidence. That's jumping ahead, but actual evidence of the student artifact, of the things that that course says it's going to do. So, for example, in APSU 355, the 4th course in, you can see that we emphasize group dynamics. They need to be able to solve problems, communicate effectively in writing, and emphasize, again, this multicultural thing, okay? So what we actually have is a group project that is presented both written and orally, that is turned into my assessment committee, and we take a look at every single semester that course is taught. Okay? So we have an assessment committee for the university.
Ideally, when this is employed, this is an outcomes or assessment matrix. This is a top level. Ideally, when you do this, you would map this to the course. So there would be one exactly like this for AP SU 210. And then within the course, you would map this down to the assessment level. So if you had a project or you had a final or you had a paper, and it would map down to that level so that you have that accountability the whole way down.
Okay.
I did it here, I did it here, I did it here. What I was kind of trying to get from some insight on, because Stan and I are in this together. We are sort of blessed with the opportunity of putting together a package for our college program by program, so that if the powers that be want to see outcomes, they can see outcomes. Now,
And this is going to get you to that package. This is typically what they consider as part of that.
right, we need this is what I'm going for him. We need this on a program level, on a course level.
Only a program level.
Only a program
Only a
level.
program level. If you had this in the original PDE
Right.
piece,
Right.
you would have flown through.
Got
This is, by
Okay.
the end of today, you'll see what PDE is looking for.
So if we're demonstrating proof of outcome, then what we want to do, and I don't have any problem. In fact, I think it's a great idea putting this together on a course level.
You could.
And then as examples, because what we keep hearing from the provost and what we keep hearing from Joe is we want demonstrated examples. We have a whole LMS full of examples.
But that's the
what
next piece.
pieces?
I'm going to show you that the next piece.
Okay.
Don't jump ahead too quick. Okay?
I was going to make the same comment that this is what the University Assessment Committee is looking to us to produce and then continue to use and to refine. My question is, are those 4 terms, introduce, reinforce, emphasize, demonstrate, is that sort of standard assessment lingo
Yeah,
that
that's
pretty
exactly
much
what it
generally
is.
used?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you know, yeah, I mean, it's there.
Robert Gagne.
Yeah, it's Gagne's.
Elements of
Yeah,
instruction.
I mean, that's basically what they're doing.
Name drop.
Okay.
Nathan teaches about that in his Collaboration Online Plus course that
Okay.
we teach the faculty before they start teaching online.
Right,
So
right.
he does bring that up right in the
Yeah,
beginning.
and it's what's really important about it is I think it's pretty simple for faculty to say, well, am I really introducing how well do I want them to do, and then how much effort am I giving into this situation? And I'm sure you can understand this with the sciences, because I always use sciences as an example, okay? Because there's a big difference between introducing, and this is mine because I never got past the introduction stage, the chemical chart. That stupid thing on the wall with all the initials on it. Yeah. The periodic table. There's a very different thing than introducing that, okay, and then reinforcing it, because like I'm really not going to remember everything that's up there, to being able to understand when I put two compounds together the danger that can occur. and I'll be honest with you, when I have a hotel background, and I had food science 7 semesters in a row. Thank you very much. And by the end, my final exam was, here is the box top label from a food that you don't know what it is with all the ingredients in it. Why don't you tell us all the chemical reactions and what's happening? And we were actually in a foods lab where they would deliberately give us recipes with something wrong. So your bread would brown, your bread would not rise, your bread would rise too much, your bread would blow up in the center. They had actually created recipes with the different chemicals to get us to understand. And that's why I call it the stupid chart, because I'm like, okay, did I have to learn that to understand how to cook? Okay. But anyways, it's that point of view. Yeah.
I was going to make this comment before when you picked on Bobby about the capstone, and it struck me that everything that you talked about, Bobby has done relative to that including talking to me about some things. So I'm struck at by how much assessment happens informally. Really, you know, I mean, not to the drill, but we don't. Well, but we're not capturing. It's happening.
That's right, but you're
we're
not
capturing
capturing it.
and we have to capture it, not just say to Joe, "Oh yeah, that happened," you know. So I'm just struck by
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole goal behind this: is how do I capture what we're doing, so that in the long run, when Middle States comes back and says, "So, what have you learned about your student writing?" It's not just what I've learned, but what have I done? You know, how have I changed, or have I changed my curriculum? Have I made a decision that curriculum needs to be changed? I mean, and a good example is we put in this entry-level course because I was measuring at the end, and it was like this light bulb went off 2 years into the process, went, well, maybe it's because everybody's coming in with different skills. And I'm never going to get to the level I want to, because just because they have 75 credits doesn't mean that they're all at the same level of learning with 75 credits. And the story I told you about the masters this morning in social work. So they're ready to be a master's student, and they've done everything that they've done, but that doesn't mean that they're all at the same level of writing that we need. And if we want to achieve the final outcome for our program, we better know the level that they're coming in at. And so we finally realized we had to go back to sort of square one and have a look at that.